Hi, this is a review of the orderIT system trading activity for September the 20th, 2021. We had 5 trades on that day. 2 were buys, 3 were short sells. First trade was BB. That is BlackBerry Limited. It tripped at 12:25:05 p.m. at a price of $9.35. And it closed the day at 9:43, down 5.98%, and is actually up 0.32% early morning. Let's see, 12:25. So right around here, it came up 9:33, 9:33. Yeah, a little bit here where it came down. 9:31, 91, 32. So from 328, 222 to 328, so almost an hour here where it was below its tripping price. So that makes that a positive. Let's see. The indicators, OBV pretty much looks like it's a regular downward trend. So volume was moving down. You see at the end of the day that little bit of spike which we saw in the price that it just came up a little bit. Well, actually not at the end of the day. Late afternoon it came up a bit, even though here it shows it's happening basically almost at closing. And MACD, same thing, came down that little bit of a spike, and pretty much came down again a spike. The stock technically was moving down, and Bollinger Band basically just shows it, which is again just a representation of price activity. You can see it's pretty much a downward trend, that little bit of spike near the end of the day, which came up a little bit, but the stock itself generally was moving down. Next trade is AAPL. That's American Airlines Group. Tripped at 1:53 p.m. at a price of $20.11. It was a buy. It closed the day at $20.33, up 3.04%, and is up 1.13% early morning. So that's another positive. And 1353, 13, yeah, that's the stock. It's interestingly, volume not too much, 153. So here where it came up, the volume moved up on its peak, but then it just dropped. Volume after the tripping period, it actually came down volume-wise. MACD came up, stabilized, came up at the end of the day, which is good. DI came up, bouncing back and forth, and at the end it came up. And Bollinger Band, same time. The stock was moving positive, but not strongly positive, even though we can see at the end of the day it came up in the price. You can see it shot up at the end of the day, even though the indicators are not showing a drastic increase in direction. Next trade is I think that's NVAX. Excuse me. That's NVAX Incorporated. It tripped at 2:20:37 p.m. at a price of 225.16. It was a short sell, and it closed the day at 226.92, down 4.47% and rising up to 1.80% early morning. So that's interesting. Let's see, 220. So we see yeah. $236, $220. It's interesting because the price here is showing a sell price of $225.16, but the price on the chart itself is not even showing that it was down around there, and it never came down to that level after. So that stock doesn't look like there's any positive result. Let's see if there's any possibility based on the movement of the indicators. Volume, you see volume was moving down in the afternoon. MACD pretty much moving down, but you see the end of day was increasing. DI was down heavily and a little bit of a jump up here in the late afternoon. Bollinger Band down pretty much, but a little bit up late afternoon. I would say this was a possible. If it wasn't for the fact that I could see early morning activity here, the stock is coming up, which indicates that it's not a positive possibility just because of it, even though in general it looks like the indicator is showing downward trend, but it's happened to be a closing. The stock came up a bit on all indicators. All indicators are pretty much showing the aspect that the stock just jumped up a bit and that. But again, early morning here, because in hindsight or foresight, whatever way you want to look at that, is showing that the stock is recovering still. I'm going to say that it's not, just because I have more information here after the fact. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. Next trade is AAPL, which I don't have to even check. That's Apple. Tripped at 2:30 p.m. at a price of 141.66. It was a short sell. Closed the day at 142.94, down 2.14%. And it's also up 1.27%, so made half its loss from yesterday, back early morning here. And see if there's any opportunity here. 2:30, so roughly around here. 141.36. Okay, so this period here, which is almost an hour, 2:42 to 3, just before 3:20, 42, almost 3/4 an hour, where it was down below the tripping price on multiple periods. So because of that, I'm going to call it a positive, even though you can see it wasn't a continual downtrend. It was bouncing back and forth, at the tripping price or tripping period. Let's see if the indicators it came down here. MACD was down. Let's see it recovery. It's just the end of the day. It's recovering. Same thing here. And DI is actually showing that it was fairly strongly negative during that period where it's down. Bollinger Band was down. The stock was moving down. Just happened to be the end of the day. Just like the previous stock, it recovered a little bit. So it was moving negative, but end of day was recovering. Next trade is STLD. That's Steel Dynamics Incorporated. Tripped at 3:27:25 p.m. at a price of 57.65. It was a buy. It closed the day at 58.12, down 6.18%. So because the stock was down, but made a recovery at the end of the day, which brought it up above its tripping price, which made it positive. And I'll just check the indicators, see what they look like. Volume looks like it's moving up. Averages moving up. DI moving up. Bollinger Band moving up. The stock definitely was moving up, even though it obviously opened probably below its previous close. It was pretty much somewhat in a recovery. Well, the price itself, you can see it was coming down. The recovery basically, or the return back moving positive, was at the end of the day. Anyways, that's 4 out of 5 stocks, which is 80%, and 80% with possible, because the one that came in as not positive didn't really move to a positive or possible direction. Anyways, I'll leave it at that.